Today marks the 28th day since the military coup d'etat in Myanmar. Today has one of the biggest protests around the whole country in Myanmar. We call it the Milk Tea Alliance. The alliance of milk tea between India, Myanmar, Thailand, Taiwan, and Hong Kong, calling for the democratic movement and to step down the generals, or in case in other countries, the government who has dethroned the will of the people, and in Myanmar, the military coup. It has been the 28th day, and it is one of the most tragic days since the beginning of the coup. People have been protesting out in the country, out in streets and roads. The whole country, millions of people have been protesting since the beginning of February, since the beginning of the coup, and today marks the biggest among them. Because today the military has been attacking people by real guns, real bullets, and also they have killed more than 30 people, and there are many wounded people, innocent civilian people who have been peacefully protesting since the beginning of February. And now military has to take actions against the people, and they have shot in heads, in stomachs, and they have been arresting everyone. They have been trying to arrest everyone who is trying to protest peacefully, including doctors, teachers around the country. And this is chaotic, this is absurd, and this is undemocratic and unconstitutional. I don't even have to say unconstitutional because there are no constitution existing in Myanmar. The military has broken the constitution by doing a coup d'etat. They've already did since the beginning of February. They've already formed their own government, which is not a legitimate government, and there is no authorization from the people. There is no will from the people. And CRPH, which a committee representing the Piranzulata, is formed by the people's wills and the representative of Piranzulata, which is the parliament representing the people. People have voted those members of the parliament to create the CRPH, committee representing Piranzulata. This CRPH needs to be accepted from the world as a legitimate government so that they can continue the government work as the real government. Now, there are no government in Myanmar, an acting government to protect the rights and the will of the people. The CRPH needs to be accepted by the United Nations, United States, and other countries as soon as possible. Just saying the words that we are very much concerned, that we condemn this military coup, we condemn this actions from the military, doesn't do anything to the will of the people. It won't affect the military leaders. They won't listen to them. They won't care to them. So the United Nations, United States, and other country, other international community needs to make sure that they are accepting CRPH as the legitimate government so that people can act. And that CRPH community will represent the real people of Myanmar, and they will be the government of Myanmar, so that they can take more actions. They can get help from all the countries around the world, including the United Nations, to act and have actions among those military generals. Just stating the statements and just having the meetings won't help 100% at all. They are helping in many ways as possible. I understand, and I understand that there are international rules that they cannot break to take actions, of course. But what we need right now is the real actions, not just issuing statements or sanctions. They won't do any much more than just closing them up. But we need to make sure that the military regime, the military dictatorship, has to step down from the ground up. They have to demolish from ground up. We need to abolish this military government. If you read the news from today from Myanmar, more than 30 people had to give their lives within this protest, within this peaceful protest. This is not a war zone. This is a slaughter from the military, and we cannot accept any more sacrifices from the people. People are dying, and you all are going to just sit back and relax and watch them dying. Just issue a statement that you're worried, you're concerned, and this is not going to help the people of Myanmar. We need to have actions against those military regime and military dictatorships and those generals. Just issuing statements won't help them at all. We need to realize the United Nations is formed to help the people and protect the human rights of the people. If the United Nations is there and just sitting and just doing nothing won't help them, then why would we need United Nations at all? If United Nations cannot even help the people of will and the people human rights and protect against them. One people dying is still dying too. One people wounded is still wounded too. United Nations policy of helping and taking actions when only is necessary, when only there are genocides happen, or when only thousands of people are dying. This is ridiculous. Why do we need United Nations for them? We don't need United Nations if you're just going to watch, sit back and relax and just do nothing. And we will do actions when many thousands of people are dying. This is ridiculous. We can't accept this. So I'm here to send a message. I'm declaring a message from the will of the people, by representing the will of the people of Myanmar, saying that United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, Mr. Antonio Guterres, to take actions to make sure that you're listening to the real people of Myanmar, and you're taking actions, not just issuing statements that you're worried or you condemn the military coup. This is not going to be enough. We need to collaborate together with the United Nations, United States, and other countries to protect people of Myanmar as soon as possible. They are actually requesting, people of Myanmar are requesting military actions against them. But I know there are rules and there have to be procedures that the United Nations and other countries has to follow. But people of Myanmar are suffering when they're making those choices, when they're making those meetings. People are dying. We can't allow that to happen anymore. It has been 28 days. It's almost been a month. What are we doing? Right now, we need to take actions immediately and help the people. If you read the news today, the military has been arresting doctors and teachers. They're slaughtering, they're torturing the teachers as well. There's no freedom of speech. There's no human rights in Myanmar. You know what they did? They have arrested more than 50 doctors. And you know what they said? They said, come back. If you want them to release, you have to give us in amount of US dollars 10,000 if you want them to. This is kidnap. This is kidnapping. How dare they? How absurd that you are seeing this and reading this news. Out there in the streets, those people who are in their 20s, who are in their millennials age, those millennials out there, 18s, 19s, 20s, are going out there to express their feelings, how they're to express their rights, their human rights. And those police and soldiers are killing them. They are actually killing them. Those people who have to give their lives, who have sacrificed their lives. Those parents who are left behind, how will they feel? How will you feel if your children are dying? Don't you want to take the... This is absurd. I can't even say these words anymore. So United Nations, other countries, United States, make sure you're taking actions and you're making sure you are helping the people of Myanmar. Not just by sanctions among those generals, you are actually helping and protecting the human rights and the people's wills of Myanmar. Thank you.